What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to take a look at 4 games I'm excited for that release in January of 2024. So January starts to build up, specifically those last couple of days. It starts to get pretty darn real, and then February is really that massive month where you're hit with basically everything under the sun. Then it kind of cools off. So let's go through these games in order of release that I'm looking forward to. Doesn't guarantee that I'm going to get them, and I'll explain which one I'm talking about. So again, starting in the order that they released, number 1, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This is a game that I do believe we've actually seen too much of. It's constantly being shown. But you know what? This game does look extremely good. So side-scrolling, 2.5D side-scrolling game, I believe, is what it's classified as in the Prince of Persia, realm. I know a lot of us want the Sands of Time remake. I mean, I'm one of those people as well. And so maybe seeing this, at first glance, you're like, oh God, why are we doing this? But no, this game looks to be extremely cool. So look, when you have these side-scrolling games, you have to have something kind of, unique about it. So in this game, it's time crystals. In this game, it's the action. I've seen a lot of talk about, there's a lot of dialogue and cutscenes even in this game. So it's a little different in that regards. And again, I actually think that's kind of cool because you do need something, whether it's the art style or the way the character moves, right? Just the movement in general, or the fighting style, or whatever it is. Whenever you have these side-scrolling games, that's really what differentiates them from one another, right? When you think of Dead Cells, you think of a very specific thing. So hopefully this game does stand out beyond it just being called Prince of Persia, right? Just beyond the name. And I think it will. Again, this game I do think is going to be quite good. It's just, I don't know. I actually was pretty excited for this when it was first announced. I still am, but I mean, they've shown it time and time again. I also just believe in my core, you don't show a side-scrolling game off too much, right? Because you kind of want the exploration and the changes of enemies and the changes in fighting. You want that to be something that we experience, not see for the first time. And I think they've shown way too much of it. But regardless, they just want it to, I think they want it to do well. They want a game that's a little bit different, to perform. And I understand that. That's totally cool. So that's the first one. Next up is The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Oh boy, this one has no controversy, no hate. Everybody's so ready for this game, right? No, okay. Well, this game is split. And I mean, the original Last of Us Part 2 was split. And hey, I'm kind of there too. There's things about Part 2 that I really liked and they're actually loved. And there's things about it that I really didn't like or maybe even borderline hated, okay? I'm one of those people. I'm not like insane about it like I've seen other people be, but I get it. I totally understand it. So Part 2 Remastered is coming out. You could absolutely argue if it needs to happen. Obviously, they are a Last of Us, pumping out kind of studio in part. Obviously, Naughty Dog's trying to do some different stuff. But here's the thing. The reason why I'm excited for this is the roguelike mode. And I will say, my opinion on it has changed just a little bit because of the Valhalla thing. So Valhalla comes out, and it's also a roguelike thing, and it's tremendous, like, in terms of the actual, and I think the more I think about it, like, I haven't played it in weeks, but when I think about the roguelike and how it's built into Valhalla, I appreciate it so much. And also, it's free. So the issue is now, and when this was announced, I actually didn't have too big of a problem with it. Well, number one, does it need a remaster? You could absolutely argue no. The biggest part of this remaster for me was the roguelike mode. You have like the free guitar playing and, updated visuals and all things like that, performance. But the biggest thing to me was literally the added content, even like the lost levels, I guess that's it, or the cut levels, whatever they're called. So that is something still, right? There's levels in this game that they literally cut from the original Last of Us Part 2. That's exciting. But the roguelike thing looks awesome. It looks legitimately cool. And it looks just as cool, if not maybe cooler, than God of War Valhalla did, when we saw the trailer for it. Okay, but it's $10 extra. You have to pay for that upgrade. So when it was originally announced, I didn't have a problem with it. I still generally don't. Like, I'm still going to do it. And I know that makes people just so mad. So let me just say it one more time. I'm still going to do it. But I will say charging 10 when God of War just did this. And yes, I mean, it was only a year gap between Valhalla and God of War Ragnarok, right? With this, it's almost 3 years that they're doing, a gap. So, it's been more time. There is a remaster element. They're not literally just adding, and I guess that's important to say, right? They're not just adding a roguelike mode and calling it good. They're doing the roguelike, again, guitar freestyle, cut levels, improved everything across the board. And that's quite a bit of stuff. So $10, it could absolutely be worse. I also think about it from that perspective. They could have charged, 40, 50, 60 bucks for this thing. We just got Last Was Part 1 Remake, which I think was very unnecessary, and that was a full price game. So this, I really don't think is all that bad, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it specifically. I'm not going to replay the game just yet. Like the story, I'm kind of waiting. It's a game that I really have sat on for a long time. I'm going to continue to sit on it for a long time. But the roguelike thing, I'm absolutely going to play that, and I'll try to play it day one. So we got that. Number 3 is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This is the one. To me, Prince of Persia, that's like the appetizer. Last of Us, you take it or leave it. That's like the bread on the side. You can reject it or you can have some of it with the butter, right? But then when it comes to Infinite Wealth, that's your main dish, right? At least for me. Infinite Wealth is a game I've been waiting for since I started playing the Yakuza series, which was this past year. And I've said this before. I'll say it, I guess, one more time. I went through 0 through 6. I played 7 Yakuza games in the span of maybe 5 months, which is, I think, actually way too many. I think it kind of broke me a little bit, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I love this series. I'm in. I haven't played, the other ones that I didn't mention, the Lost Judgment, Ishin and all that stuff. Haven't done those yet. I will eventually, but I'm very excited. In fact, I cannot wait. This is probably, along with maybe like a Hellblade 2, this is probably like the top game, the most anticipated game, just because, like, let's go. Let's see this story. If you see, I won't spoil it here, but I mean, if you see the trailer, very long trailers for these games, there's a very big thing with Kiryu that is very impactful that I absolutely, I need to see what happens, right? Like, there's no waiting on that. It's, you must see immediately what happens there. So yeah, this game's got me. I cannot wait. Am I gonna spend like 150 to 200 hours into this game like they kind of want? I don't know. I'm not really built for that. I really am not. Persona, playing 90 hours, that's a lot. I mean, I don't even know how I did that, to be honest with you. I played Persona 5 for 90 hours. That's just not the kind of gamer I am. But at the same, I will make sacrifices. I'll do what needs to be done for games that I love. So if the game needs me to play it for 100 hours, I will. And ultimately, if you're not me and you want a game that's 150 hours, there's your game, right? The amount of stuff that's packed into Infinite Wealth is legitimately insane. Both the content and the amount of content is literally insane. You have to be insane in order to kind of appreciate it, and that's why we all are. And then the last game, and this is the one that I said earlier, right? This doesn't guarantee that I'm getting them, is actually Tekken 8. So I want to throw this in kind of as like an honorable mention because the game looks awesome. Like, visually looks incredible. Tekken as a franchise is another one. If you've followed me, you know that I'm not a big fighting guy. I mean, I have played Tekkens in past, but I don't know which Tekken I've played. I can't tell you the characters. Like, this is just for me, casual, which probably it's not for other people, right? Casual kind of thing. Now, here's the deal. When it comes to Tekken 8, why it's an honorable mention, look, I gave Street Fighter 6 a try. I actually bought that game day one, and that was probably a mistake. I mean, I actually really like Street Fighter 6, but I'm just bad. Like, I'm a terrible fighting player, and I don't see why I should spend, like me, why would I spend money to just play it for a couple days, get destroyed, and then never play it again because I'm so bad at it? And that's just like where I'm at. So it's nothing against Tekken 8. I think this game is going to be legitimately huge. I think a lot of people are going to be into it and like it. For me, I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'll be like looking at it, but I'm not going to, like, I got to be real with myself. I got Mortal Kombat 1. I decently liked that. The story was a little disappointing at the end, but I like Mortal Kombat actually quite a bit. Street Fighter, I tried, not necessarily for me. Tekken, there's no way. There's no way that game's for me, so I'm just going to let it go. But I am going to be watching it. I know people are excited for it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.